Before the gate of the Thunder Celestial Realm ever opened, something had already entered. Not a name, not a legend, but a streak of madness wrapped in lightning tearing through the void like fate itself had lost patience. And from that moment on, the Thunder Celestial Realm was no longer waiting for its visitors. It was waiting for him. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, please consider supporting us through the donation. It really motivates us to keep creating. Every cultivator who possessed a thunder furnace was being drawn forward, each pulled by the resonance of their own furnace. Unless they hailed from the same cultivation planet, the distance between them was so vast that they could not glimpse even the faintest outline of one another. When they cast their gazes about, there was nothing to see. Aside from the glow emanating from their own bodies, the world around them was swallowed in boundless darkness. And then, without warning, a blinding streak of thunder tore across the void like a descending meteor, dragging behind it a roar that shook the emptiness itself. Its speed had surpassed all reason, reaching a realm that defied comprehension. In an instant, it swept past several cultivators. The force of its passing caused the light surrounding them to tremble violently, flickering as though on the verge of extinction. These cultivators were from the same cultivation planet, and their expressions shifted dramatically. They focused their senses toward the direction of the disturbance, but all they saw was a distant flash that vanished as abruptly as it had appeared. What remained was silence, and in their eyes confusion and fear. One of them muttered hoarsely, "What? What was that?" Within that meteor-like bolt of thunder was Wang Lin. The extreme velocity rendered him incapable of opening his eyes. The wind and lightning tore past him with merciless ferocity. It felt as though something was coursing wildly through his body, gouging countless invisible hollows into his flesh. He did not even dare extend his divine sense. At such terrifying speed, the moment he spread it outward, it would reach its limit instantly. The violent momentum would shear it away from him, severing that fragment of perception and damaging his origin soul. He was simply too fast. The thunder meteor rampaged along the path leading toward the Thunder Celestial Realm. Some cultivators entering for the first time were brimming with excitement at the thought of reaching the Celestial Gate. Until they saw it. Until they saw that dreadful streak of lightning split the void before them. Shock froze them in place. For a moment they forgot where they were. Even those who rarely revealed emotion stood stunned, their composure shattered. For a handful of veterans, this was not their first journey. Yet even they could not conceal the uncertainty that surfaced in their expressions upon witnessing that meteor-like thunder. In such a perilous environment, very few dared to release their divine sense recklessly. And even if they did, it would have been impossible to lock onto something moving at such insane speed. What exactly was inside that meteor? Before they had even stepped foot into the Thunder Celestial Realm, that question had already rooted itself deep within the hearts of nearly every cultivator present. At the far end of this endless expanse stood the gate to the Thunder Celestial Realm. The gate was itself a colossal bolt of thunder so immense that no eye could trace its beginning or its end. Dark red in color, it emerged from the void and stretched endlessly forward, disappearing once more into nothingness, like a river of lightning flowing through eternity. Yet there was no vitality emanating from it. It resembled a corpse, something once alive, now bereft of breath. Countless legends circulated within the all-heaven star system regarding this thunderbolt. The most widely accepted tale claimed that in ancient times there had been no gate at all. The Thunder Celestial Realm had once been an immeasurable sea of lightning requiring no entrance. As for this dark red thunder, it was said to have formed from the souls of all the Celestials, when the celestial realm collapsed. After the fall, it became the gate. Beneath this immense bolt of dark red thunder, several figures sat cross-legged in meditation. Among them was Shen Gonghu. Aside from the messengers of the Thunder Celestial Temple, a few rare independent cultivators from the All-Heaven star system were also present. In a realm ruled overwhelmingly by cultivation clans, lone cultivators were scarce. Without terrifying strength to stand on their own survival was nearly impossible. Thus, nearly every independent cultivator here was a formidable existence. Few spoke. Most sat with eyes closed, unwilling to be disturbed. From time to time, new cultivators arrived, guided here by their thunder furnaces. The earliest arrivals were typically those who had stepped into the second step of cultivation. If acquaintances met, they might exchange a few quiet words before choosing to sit together or apart. Seated beside Shen Gonghu was a middle-aged man dressed in blue. His face was pale, utterly devoid of color, and a cold glint lingered in his eyes. In a strange, measured tone, he spoke. "I heard that the ever-proud Shen Gonghu has taken a lord. I did not believe it at first. But seeing that a portion of your Dao soul is missing, it seems the rumor is true." He shook his head slowly. "What a pity. What a pity." Shen Gonghu's expression did not change. He cast a calm, cold glance at the man before replying evenly. A short-sighted man without ambition cannot comprehend the aspirations of one with true vision. A shallow mind cannot fathom the thoughts of one who seeks the heights. His gaze sharpened. "Tang Yangfeng, you are not me." Tang Yangfeng's eyes turned icy and a gloomy smile tugged at his lips. "I would very much like to see what kind of vision you possess." Shen Gonghu said nothing further. For 20 years he had borne immense pressure. Pressure from his clan, pressure from the Thunder Celestial Temple, all because he had pledged himself to Wang Lin. Within his family, he had been harshly reprimanded for his impulsive decision. Though he was a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple, he could not defy the elders of his own bloodline. As for the temple, they disapproved of a messenger swearing fealty to another. Though no one spoke openly, Shen Gonghu could clearly feel their alienation. For example, with his talent and standing, he should not have been here waiting beneath this gate. He should have entered through another path alongside the majority of the temple's messengers. Though he was not the only messenger present, none here could compare to him in status. Yet as these thoughts surfaced, Shen Gonghu felt no regret. Instead, he felt pride. Not only did he believe he had not erred, he was convinced it was the greatest decision of his life. The words he had spoken to Tang Yangfeng were the same he had declared before his clan's elders. Even the head elder remains trapped at the Nirvana cleanser stage. As for the legendary third step, they have not even glimpsed its shadow. His eyes shone brilliantly. "What qualifications do they have to guide me?" Tang Yangfeng sneered inwardly. Shen Gonghu had once been the most brilliant among their generation, the first to become a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple. Yet a single decision had cast him into such circumstances. Just then, a radiant light suddenly appeared in the distance. An instant later, thunder roared as it surged forward like an approaching storm. Every cultivator present opened their eyes. Tang Yangfeng was no exception. The light intensified violently and hurtled straight toward them, carrying with it a deafening rumble. It closed the distance at a speed beyond belief. Too fast. In the blink of an eye, it was upon them. Many powerful cultivators immediately released their divine senses, attempting to lock onto the meteor-like thunder to discern its secrets. But before they could even grasp a trace of it, it had already swept past. The overwhelming force it carried made every gaze grow grave. And then, instead of slowing as expected, it accelerated. Before countless stunned eyes, the meteor-like thunder flashed past the gathered cultivators and charged directly toward the gate. A heartbeat later, it collided with the dark red thunderbolt. A muffled rumble echoed, and then it disappeared into the gate itself. Silence fell like a shroud. It entered. Someone whispered, utterly dumbfounded. Not just him. Nearly everyone rose to their feet, staring at the gate in disbelief. They had never heard of anyone entering before the gate opened. It was beyond all expectation. Tang Yangfeng stared blankly at the Thunder Celestial Gate. What is this? How could someone enter before it opened? Could it be that entry is possible before the gate awakens? He frowned. He was not the only one who had such a thought. But only one dared to test it. His body flickered and a clone stepped out from behind him. Without hesitation, he pointed forward and the clone shot toward the dark red thunder. All eyes followed. The clone touched the thunderbolt. Its body trembled and instantly collapsed. At the same moment, a streak of dark red lightning shot outward, racing toward the cultivator who had sent the clone. His expression changed drastically. Though he stood at the illusory yin stage facing that thunder made his scalp go numb. His thoughts nearly shattered. He turned and fled. But the red lightning pursued relentlessly. In an instant, it pierced into his body, circulated through him once, and then exited. The cultivator trembled violently. Then, his body, his origin soul, and even his bag of holding collapsed into nothing. Silence. The surrounding cultivators fell utterly quiet. No one noticed that Shen Gonghu had lowered his head. Within his eyes surged shock and indescribable excitement. When the meteor-like thunder had passed earlier, he had sensed it. Through the fragment of Tao soul he had pledged, a trace of his lord's aura. Shen Gonghu was not wrong. His heart pounded. Senior is truly extraordinary. The thunder he has drawn has reached such heights. To enter the Thunder Celestial realm before it even opens. His breathing grew heavy. This level of cultivation is simply unimaginable. On a mountain peak, within a fragment of the unopened Thunder Celestial realm, where countless bolts of lightning raged, endlessly a lone figure stood. An old man. His white hair streamed behind him in the storm. His white robes fluttered violently. With one hand clasped behind his back, he gazed into the distance, brows furrowed as though deep in contemplation. Suddenly, he was startled. He looked up sharply. "Interesting," he murmured softly. A faint smile of intrigue touched his lips. A gust of wind swept past. And in the next instant, his body dissolved into countless golden specks, scattering into the thunderous sky before vanishing entirely. If Wang Lin had been present, he would have recognized it immediately. Within that dispersal lingered a faint aura, the aura of returning to the origin. The meteor-like thunder that carried Wang Lin into the Thunder Celestial realm went utterly berserk the moment it collided with the dark red bolt. The thunder within it surged several-fold in an instant, swelling to a terrifying, almost catastrophic intensity. It plunged into Wang Lin's body like a maddened dragon. In the span of a single breath, numbness flooded his limbs, and his origin soul was completely locked down, as if shackled by invisible chains. The change came too fast. Wang Lin did not even have time to think. His body froze entirely, as though some supreme being had cast the stop spell upon him. At the very instant the meteor thunder struck the dark red gate, he was dragged across the boundary, and into the thunder celestial realm. There was no time to observe his surroundings. The thunder wrapped around him was falling faster than a boulder crashing from the heavens. With a deafening roar, it smashed straight into a fragmented landmass within the thunder celestial realm. The meteor tore through the air and slammed into the ground. The entire fragment trembled violently. A monstrous dust storm erupted, blotting out everything beyond 30 feet. The earth quaked like a colossal dragon, twisting beneath the soil. Only after a long while did the dust begin to settle. The trembling ground gradually calmed. What remained in the eastern region of the fragment was a massive crater, silent proof that what had just occurred was no illusion. Green smoke curled upward from within the pit. A passing wind scattered it thinly into the air. At the bottom of the crater, faint strands of thunder still slithered through the scorched earth, leaving charred traces in their wake. The crater was unimaginably deep, and at its very bottom lay Wang Lin. Blood seeped from the corners of his eyes, nose, and mouth. Many parts of his body had been battered by the impact. His condition was wretched, his figure almost unrecognizable. Although the Thunder Celestial Realm was more stable than the Rain Celestial Realm, it too stood upon the brink of collapse. The difference between them was like 50 steps versus 100 vast in measure, yet insignificant in the grand scheme of destruction. After enduring the violent shock of the meteor's descent, this fragment had grown even more unstable. Not long after, Wang Lin crashed down, the edges of the crater began to crumble. A series of muffled rumbles echoed as the surrounding earth collapsed inward. Dust surged once more. When it finally settled, the crater had vanished, completely buried beneath layers of rubble. Wang Lin was sealed underground. A white-haired old man appeared as though stepping from the void itself. He stood where the crater had once been, glancing downward with a faint smile. "I have lived for many years," he murmured. "But this is the first time I've seen someone so eager, so greedy to enter the Thunder Celestial Realm before its gate has even opened." His voice trailed off. His eyes narrowed. After observing carefully, he muttered to himself, "This little fellow's origin soul carries astonishing thunder pressure, and even his body is forged from thunder. What a strange mess. Is he human or spirit?" A glimmer of curiosity flickered in his gaze. If this continues, he will inevitably become a thunder spirit. Then his smile deepened. "However, the place he landed is rather interesting." He paused, then chuckled softly. "Since this old man has seen you, it means we share fate." Raising his right hand, he pressed it lightly toward the ground. A streak of light rippled across the earth like an unseen tide. The old man's figure flickered and vanished. Many had once been fated with him. None had fared well. Time passed. Deep beneath the earth, Wang Lin slowly opened his eyes. Pain flooded his entire body in crushing waves. Even his origin soul felt sluggish and obstructed. He gave a bitter smile. The place around him was a collapsed stone chamber, half buried in soil that trickled down from above. After surveying his surroundings, he struggled to sit upright and closed his eyes to cultivate. Slowly, carefully, he activated his origin soul. There. He found it. A sliver of thunder that did not belong to him, a foreign strand incompatible with his own lightning essence. It was this intruding force that disrupted the flow of his origin soul. Silence reigned in the darkness. Wang Lin immersed himself completely in cultivation. At that moment, the celestial guard emerged silently from his shadow, seated itself opposite him, and stood vigil. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. Wang Lin opened his eyes and exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. A faint thread of thunder flickered within it before dispersing. I cannot take such risks again. He shook his head slightly. Fortunately, the invading thunder was only a trace. Had it been greater, I would not have been able to expel it so quickly. With that sliver removed, his origin soul resumed its proper flow. His injuries began to mend. Though his body had suffered greatly, his cultivation foundation remained intact. He lifted his gaze toward the earth above him. Taking a step forward, he shot upward like a beam of light. Since I have come to the Thunder Celestial Realm, I must see how it differs from the Rain Celestial Realm. But the instant he touched the soil above, a flash of light burst forth. It felt as though he had struck a wall of iron. A thunderous boom echoed as he was violently repelled, thrown back to the ground. Wang Lin landed, retreating several steps. Terror flickered in his eyes. This soil contains origin energy. He inhaled sharply. Lightning flickered within his pupils as he examined it more closely. His expression darkened. This is not naturally formed origin energy. It's the result of a spell. His voice grew cold. Someone does not wish for me to leave. Though the ground had been hardened by impact, it should not have obstructed spells. Yet now it was different, completely altered. Was this caused by celestial thunder, or by someone deliberately casting a spell? With a thought, the celestial guard surged forward, testing multiple directions. Every path was sealed. All but one. Only directly ahead remained open. Wang Lin's face turned grim. This was no coincidence. Someone had seen him. Someone had imprisoned him here and arrogantly left him a single road, as though declaring, "If you wish to leave, go forward." He fell silent. He did not know whether the Thunder Celestial Realm had already opened. Nor could he deduce the identity of the one who had done this. Whoever can seal a fragment of the Celestial Realm like this, their cultivation is far from ordinary. His gaze sharpened. But if they wished to harm me, they could have struck directly. Why force me forward? His eyes lit slightly. He glanced at the tunnel the Celestial Guard had uncovered. Staying here is pointless. His expression grew cold. Let us see what mysteries lie ahead. With a slap to his bag of holding a golden celestial brush appeared in his hand. A thin streak of red light emerged from the crack between his brows, lending him an ominous aura. Forming a seal, he summoned celestial wind. The soil before him was swept aside, revealing a winding passage. His divine sense spread outward. Countless twisting tunnels extended into the unknown. Even when he expanded his divine sense to its limit, he could not detect their end. After a brief moment of contemplation, Wang Lin shot forward. As he advanced, his divine sense continuously probed ahead, searching for exits. He attempted to break through at several points, but everywhere the soil was reinforced by the spell. Impenetrable. Then, his eyes narrowed. Ahead at a fork, he sensed an exit. He accelerated toward it. Yet something troubled him. Finding it had been too easy. Could this truly be the result of thunder rather than a spell? Just as he neared, the exit flashed with light and vanished. Wang Lin halted abruptly. His expression grew even darker. After observing the area in silence, he turned and headed toward another fork. Half an hour later, his divine sense located another exit. Grey light filtered through it, clearly led to the surface. Without hesitation, he charged. He was swift, though teleportation remained impossible. When he was only 100 feet away, the exit flashed white and disappeared. Wang Lin clenched his fist. His face was as dark as storm clouds. He slowly raised his head as though his gaze could pierce through earth and sky alike. After several steady breaths, he turned and walked away. This place was undoubtedly created by a spell. As he moved through the endless tunnels, he gradually calmed his mind. The exits were being controlled. He was meant to see them, but never reach them. If he allowed impatience to take hold, escape would only grow more distant. Somewhere within the Thunder Celestial realm, the old man stood with his hands behind his back. A smile played at his lips. It has been a long time since someone fated with this old man has appeared. He chuckled softly. If this junior can escape within 7 days, then our fate runs even deeper. His eyes glimmered. There are many fascinating places in this Thunder Celestial realm, places most suitable for those who share fate with me. 3 more days passed. Wang Lin moved through the underground passages like lightning itself. Divine sense spread wide. Every half hour he would detect an exit. And every time, he ignored it. For 3 full days, he traversed every tunnel beneath the earth. Gradually, a complete map formed within his mind. And with it, understanding. Wang Lin had discovered the method to leave this place. Since this place collapsed when I fell, that means it is inherently unstable. Even if it has been sealed by a powerful spell, it cannot withstand the collapse of the celestial realm itself. Wang Lin's thoughts were cold and precise. He stood within the central tunnel, the nexus where nearly every branching path converged. Almost all the underground passages ultimately fed into this very point. If the exits appear at fixed intervals, just to lure me forward and provoke impatience, then whoever cast this spell is truly bored. A faint chill flashed across his eyes. How could he allow himself to be toyed with like prey in a maze? If this was a scheme, then he would shatter it with his own hands. Raising his head, Wang Lin locked onto the soil above. With a slap of his bag of holding, the god-slaying war chariot roared into existence and transformed into the Thunder Beast. The instant it appeared, it let out a thunderous roar. Bound by spirit to Wang Lin, it required no command. Vast currents of lightning surged through its body and gathered at its silver horn. The horn blazed. With another roar, the Thunder Beast charged upward like a blade of pure light, cleaving toward the ceiling of the tunnel. A deafening explosion echoed through the underground passages. The tremor was violent. Wang Lin could feel the shockwave racing through every connected tunnel, spreading like a pulse through veins of earth. The Thunder Beast was hurled backward by the recoil. The counterforce was so immense that even its powerful body trembled violently. Yet after retreating several steps, it steadied itself. Its eyes burned with battle intent. Unyielding. At that instant, a shadow flickered behind Wang Lin. The celestial guard stepped forward, its entire body enveloped in golden radiance. Without hesitation, it drove a fist into the exact point where the Thunder Beast had struck. Boom! The explosion this time was even more ferocious. The tremor intensified. The celestial guard's body was incomparably sturdy. It withdrew its fist and struck again. Another explosion. And another. After 5 successive punches, even it was forced to retreat. The golden light around its body dimmed its aura, turning unstable under the violent backlash. Wang Lin's expression remained calm. He had chosen this location carefully. It could not be wrong. Now, he lifted his hand. The celestial sword containing the awakened Shu Liguo shot forward, accompanied by Shu Liguo's furious cursing. The Thunder Beast, the celestial guard and the celestial sword launched relentless successive assaults. The entire fragment began to tremble violently. But it was this tunnel, this central artery, that shook most fiercely. Because it connected all others, every passage resonated with the impact. Wang Lin let out a roar. His hands formed a seal. Celestial spiritual energy surged within him. His origin soul erupted with thunder, lightning condensing in his palm until it formed a crackling sphere of destruction. He hurled it upward. The thunder beast roared and followed, wrapped in thunder. The celestial guard surged close behind. The fragment could no longer endure it. The trembling reached a critical point, and the tunnel collapsed. The collapse triggered a chain reaction. Every connected passage crumbled in an instant. Earth and stone rained downward in torrents. Yet amid the collapse, threads of origin energy emerged. They wove through the falling debris like luminous veins, forming a dense network that rarely intersected. But wherever two lines crossed, a door of light appeared. Wang Lin's pupils contracted. Even after the collapse of the tunnels, the spell persisted. However, without the obstruction of earth and stone, reaching those half-hourly light doors became far easier. The moment the next door appeared, Wang Lin moved. His body flickered and he charged forward at his greatest speed. The celestial guard and thunder beast followed like shadows. He stepped through the door and emerged into open space. Without pause, he stepped into the void and inhaled deeply. The underground network lay below the lines of origin energy, still forming their prison. What is this person's purpose? His gaze was thoughtful, cold. If he wished to kill me, this spell alone would have sufficed. If he wished to trap me, he could have erased the exits entirely. He looked downward. But instead, this. The prison line still shimmered faintly below. After a moment of contemplation, Wang Lin recalled the Thunder Beast and Celestial Guard. Yet as he continued observing the web of origin energy beneath him, a chill crept across his scalp. He scanned the surroundings. This is the Thunder Celestial Realm. His voice lowered slightly. For cultivators who have stepped into the second step, celestial jades should be dispensable. Their cultivation revolves around origin energy. This question had long lingered in his heart. Why were so many second-step cultivators desperate to enter this place? After encountering Shen Gonghu, he had begun to piece together the answer. Beyond celestial jades, there were celestial pills and ancient treasures scattered throughout the Thunder Celestial Realm. Though many were claimed each time the realm opened, some always remained. Whether one could find them depended entirely upon fortune. There were even rumors of complete celestial spells. Most discovered spells were fragmented. Yet the cultivators of the All-Heaven star system firmly believed that somewhere within this realm, complete inheritances existed. But more than that, 8 fully intact celestial corpses had been discovered here. If one could locate even a clue related to a celestial corpse, it could be sold to the Thunder Celestial Temple for immense reward. Accurate leads brought enormous benefits. Should someone personally obtain a celestial corpse and present it to the temple, the gains would be unimaginable. Not only personal fortune, but glory for one's entire clan. And if the discoverer possessed sufficient talent, they might even be accepted as a disciple by one of the 10 great elders. From that moment onward, they would stand above the masses. Yet even these reasons paled compared to one final attraction: the origin energy pits. Over 10,000 years ago, a mere ascendant cultivator had stumbled upon a semi-abandoned origin energy pit. After cultivating within it, he miraculously broke through the first step and entered the second. The news spread like wildfire. No one knew how such pits formed. They had never been seen in countless previous openings of the Thunder Celestial Realm. It was as though they had appeared from nothingness. Within them, origin energy was unimaginably rich, pure, and requiring no refinement. Even a first-step cultivator needed only to cultivate and absorb. Such rumors drove cultivators into madness. There was also the so-called origin tool, whose contained energy transformed differently depending on the cultivator. For first-step cultivators, it became celestial spiritual energy. For those of the second step, it transformed directly into origin energy. These were the true temptations that had drawn Wang Lin here. He could not help but wonder why he had never encountered such things in the Rain Celestial realm. No clear answer emerged, but he vaguely suspected. Compared to the Thunder Celestial realm, the Rain Celestial realm was simply too small. Perhaps its collapse had been more severe, erasing entire regions. Or perhaps certain areas were deliberately sealed, inaccessible, hidden from the public eye. My cultivation is still insufficient. He exhaled softly. His body turned into a streak of light as he prepared to depart. At that very moment, the origin energy lines below suddenly collapsed. They vanished without a trace. Wang Lin halted mid-air. He stared downward. From the collapsed ground, a faint fluctuation of celestial spiritual energy emerged. Half buried in the soil was a grayish-white handle. The energy fluctuations came from it. On another fragment of the Thunder Celestial realm, the old man stood with hands clasped behind his back, gazing at a towering mountain before him. He licked his lips and was about to step forward when he paused, sensing something. He laughed. That little fellow took a shortcut. Otherwise, leaving within 7 days would have been impossible. His eyes glimmered with amusement. But taking a shortcut is no sin. Since you are so eager to become a fated person with this old man, then I shall reluctantly agree. His gaze shifted back to the mountain. Still more important matters await. I have prepared for tens of thousands of years for this moment. A flicker of excitement flashed in his ancient eyes. Very little in this world could stir his emotions. Only this terrifying plan he had nurtured for tens of thousands of years. He chuckled as he stepped toward the mountain. This old man will become the #1 person in the All-Heaven star system. Once this plan is complete, I will sweep across the Alliance star system, and that damned Master Zhongshuan shall die without even a grave. Meanwhile, Wang Lin descended slowly. He reached out and pulled the object free from the earth. It was incomplete, clearly a fragment of a water vase. His eyes shone faintly. Looking down once more, he sensed several additional fluctuations beneath the soil. Why did I not notice this before? He frowned. Only after the collapse. At that instant, a streak of light tore across the horizon. Black. It carried with it dense, surging, devilish energy. The black light seemed to lock onto him instantly. It changed direction and charged straight toward Wang Lin. Within that devilish aura surged undisguised killing intent and arrogance. A cold voice echoed across the air. Junior ahead, leave the object in your hand and scram. If you disobey, die. If you loved this story, please consider supporting us through the donation link below. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the best and most immersive video. We truly appreciate you being here with us.